YouTube, we have Twitter and Periscope, we have Facebook. Hello once again, one and all. We are live. Welcome to THRS Deep Cuts. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And we're here again to do another one. We're going to have some fun again tonight. We're going to cover off the latest from Cheap Trick. Yes, we are actually going to do that one tonight. We didn't do it last time around. We had to reschedule it, so we're getting to it now. We're also going to cover the latest from Sweet Oblivion featuring Geoff Tate, formerly of Queensryche, and also Motorjesus out of Europe as well. I'll have a hot topic in a second, like always. What else? Our details, as always, are in the description of this stuff. What else? Follow us, subscribe, all the usual stuff to do by now. And what else? I don't know. Fuck, you know what to do by now. Just follow us, like, subscribe, all the usual shit. Check out our sponsors too.
Call me a bitch.
Sorry?
Comment and call me a bitch.
Yes, please do. We all enjoy that. We get a kick out of that stuff too. So comment and share and all that sort of stuff. If you see this, give it a share. Help us get some viewers out there. And a big thank you, as always, to our sponsors, Squidding, Screen Printing, Old Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Please find them, give them a follow as well. Their details, as well as ours, are in the description of this episode. We have a Patreon page too. If you want to help us out directly, go and check that out. Every bit of help does matter to us a great deal. It helps me to do more. But yeah, we've got a lot to get through. We've got a hot topic in a second, which has to do with Channel 31, Channel 44, and all that sort of stuff, and the future of community television. Once again, here we go. But for now, we'll just kick it off with, how are you going, Dave? It's only been a few days.
Yeah, been good. Work's been swamped, but kids are on school holidays, so always fun to get home, and they're already home, which is cool. Don't have to go up and pick them up. And took them to the drive-in the other day. We saw Peter Rabbit 2.
Oh, cool.
It's a cool movie. It had a knowing wink to the audience about, hey, we're ripping off an old story. It's cool.
Yeah.
So it was clever. It was well done. So it had some jokes for the adults too, which was good. And
nice.
Yeah, just ate a Luna burger, which is amazing. Chips.
That's how you put the fire on the burger. So
yeah,
how was that?
I love that burger. It's so good. It's the best thing we're going to the drive-in.
Yeah.
And of course the chips, the choc top, donuts, the popcorn, the Coke. I just stuff myself silly at the drive-in. It's always good.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I love junk food. And apart from that, just been listening to lots of music because we've got a big special coming up this Sunday that we're filming and preparing for tonight. So it's all good. Good stuff.
Yeah, there's lots to get through at the moment. It's been a bit of a cram session because I fell behind on planning of things, which is my bad. My apologies to not only you but everyone else in the crew and to those playing along at home.
It happens. It's all good.
Yeah. Just busy at the moment. It's just flat out. Everything's flat out. It's crazy. We had the Easter break, which is great to get away for 4 days, but then that roll-on effect of playing catch-up with everything just keeps going on and on and on, and it's like, fuck, I reckon I'll be back to normal in about another week and a half from now because I can just see it already compressing into next week where I've got to edit the 2-hour special combined with the marathon for community TV. But it is what it is. It's all good. It just means that, there's not a lot of sleep going on for the next few days, but I'm kind of used to that. The trouble is that the years get going by and I'm not nearly as energetic as I was when we started this thing 10 years ago. So I get a bit more tired now than I did back then, which makes it more challenging.
It does catch up with you after a while.
And I've been burning the candle at both ends for quite some time because for those who don't know, I do all the editing and all the producing of the content. So there you go. There's for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure most people know by now who does everything here, like in that regard. But no, Dave has stepped up big time for us this week. We wouldn't have done anything tonight if it wasn't for Dave. So there we go. And yeah, like you said, on Sunday we're filming our Gadinsky special. So we've got 12 albums we're going to talk about that have all been pushed, promoted, whatever else in some way, shape or form, either live or by Mushroom Records by Michael Gadinsky. That's coming up, and we'll be releasing that at the end of the month for everyone to enjoy. Got some comments coming in. Nikki, here we go. Nikki loves joining us on these streams. She's jumped in and said, such a bitch, Dave. Moon and back rocks.
No. Just no. No.
Yeah, there we go. And Dean Whedon, who's a regular of ours, thanks for joining in again on Facebook. He's gone, hey, lads, looking forward to the new album review from Cheap Trick. Been a band for a very long time. Yes, they have. They started in the 70s from memory. 73, there you go. So they've been around for a little while. All the preamble aside, let's get to the hot topic because this is a bit of an interesting one. I'm going to put a link in the comments and then I'm going to read the statement, so bear with me. So if you don't see this link wherever you are, it'll be on our Facebook page, or it's also in the description of this as well. We put this link in the description. This is for Channel 31 has released a statement to do with the future of community television on TV as it stands in Australia. And I'm going to go to that. So bear with me while I just basically read this out here. I'll get to the comments that are coming through in just a moment. So on the 13th of April, Channel 31 released a media statement. Australian Community Television Alliance urges the federal government to include C31 Melbourne and Geelong and Channel 44 Adelaide in its proposed media reforms and not end free-to-air TV, community TV in Australia. The Australian Community Television Alliance is calling on the Honourable, I don't know if any of the politicians are honourable, but we'll go with it, Paul Fletcher, MP, Minister for Communications, to include community television in its proposed restack of Australian TV spectrum and keep C31 and C44 on the air until their broadcast spectrum is repurposed. C31 and 44 have been invited by the federal government to provide a submission to the current consultation on the Media Reform Green Paper, which closes 23rd of May, just over a month before both stations' broadcast licenses expire on June 30, 2021. We have written to Minister Fletcher asking for an opportunity to discuss our broadcast license deadline and our upcoming submission as part of the Green Paper process, General Manager of C31 Shane Dunlop has said. We believe May will be too late, as 1 month is not enough time to undertake a thorough and proper review of our response. To switch us off before this consultation process is complete would deny the Australian public an outcome that works towards their overall best interests. As stated in the Green Paper, the broadcast spectrum we currently occupy is not scheduled to be repurposed until 2024, possibly later. A digital restack is then slated to occur sometime around 2026, so turning us off now is completely unnecessary. We would also strongly suggest that community TV deserves a place within the longer-term framework of free-to-air TV, added C44 General Manager Lauren Hillman. The Green Paper sees all free-to-air broadcasters converting to more efficient broadcast technology after the restack, which would allow for more channels using much less space. There is a pathway forward for community TV, and we're urging Minister Fletcher to consider it. Since 2014, the federal government has provided 7 last-minute broadcast license extensions, insisting that community TV stations transition to an online-only model. The uncertainty caused and the difficulty of generating revenue from digital platforms has ultimately led to the closure of community TV stations in Sydney, Brisbane and Perth. When pressed about the future of Australia's 2 remaining community TV stations on the eve of their last extension deadline on Q&A on 29th of June last year, Minister Fletcher announced just 26 hours before switch-off that C31 and C44 be granted a 12-month extension. The minister insisted that an online model is best for community TV and that C31 and C44 should continue as a great place for people to work, make programs and be responsive to the community. The minister also assured viewers that the federal government would work with both stations to effect a successful transition. Sorry, this is long, I know, but I've got to get through it all. C31 and 44 have repeatedly asserted that to the federal government that broadcast revenues are critical to both stations' viability. Both stations are committed to a digital future and have made considerable efforts to evolve their services and develop new revenue from video and live stream production. However, to replace broadcast revenue and achieve a successful transition to an online-only model by June 2021 is not possible. Furthermore, ending free-to-air community TV is contrary to the aims of the Green Paper. ACTA contends that free-to-air community TV should continue for the same reasons the Green Paper on page 3 argues that the federal government's proposed reforms are necessary to protect commercial broadcasters because older Australians, the less affluent, are less likely to use alternatives to free-to-air television, to keep Australian stories available on our television screens, and because without community TV, the volume, variety and quality of Australian content available is likely to decline, audiences will have access to few Australian voices and stories. In May, a new ACTA video on-demand streaming platform and app will be launched to make community TV even more accessible. As a sector, we have always embraced new broadcast technologies and we look forward to the release of our upcoming video on-demand platform, Ms. Hillman said. However, to challenge the transition of community TV viewers and replace the substantial revenue that free-to-air television still generates within the timeframe the government has outlined just isn't feasible, particularly as we come out of a devastating pandemic. We look forward to hearing from the Minister soon. C31 and C44 Adelaide will be holding the 10th and Tenor Awards on 29th of May to recognise Best Community Television. Both stations look forward to celebrating not only the incredible, diverse, local and emerging talent on display, but the successful release of their video-on-demand platform and renewal of their broadcast licenses beyond June 30 this year. Like I said, apologies, that is long, but that is the nuts and bolts of it. There is a campaign about to roll out again, which will be urging people to write to the ministers and all sorts of stuff, and I know that from my point of view, I can hear the collective groans because it's like, oh, no, not again, because I've been through every single one. So the 7 extensions all since 2014. I've seen them all. I've been there through them all. It sucks every fucking time, and the deadline gets tighter and tighter and tighter. I reckon we won't know until probably a minute before switch off this time around, because I left it so late last time. But if you're watching, if you see this, if you listen to this at some point, be aware there is a campaign coming to keep community television, both Channel 31 and 44. They are the only ones left now on TV, because we need that media diversity in Australia. And it is one of those things where anyone can do it. Hell, look at us. We can do it. So the fight is there to keep community TV on the air. I know it's a draining thing to go through it all again, but it's important, especially these days with media diversity being so lack. Just look at the for those that follow the politics of it all and the media landscape, the Senate inquiry into the Murdoch media stuff that's going on at the moment is very important to understand how this is all playing out. But anyway, what are your thoughts on all that, Dave? Anything to add to that lengthy?
Man. I can't think of how many goodbye specials that we've done and really being convinced that this is the last time. And holy shit, we're back. This is awesome. But it's been an absolute clusterfuck, because you get ready to go off, you kind of accept it, and then you're back, but you kind of lose momentum. And not just us, I'm sure there's plenty of other shows that just packed it in and just thought, oh, we can't keep doing this. We can't build an audience. We can't build a profile. And if the spectrum isn't going to be used for 2024, just extend the fucking thing until then, while you're having all these discussions and debates, and let people get about what they're doing. And, you know, I've run into people in my local shopping center, and they're like, hey, you're on the Hard Rock Show. Love your show. Hope you guys stick around on TV. I was like, well, we're not going to go anywhere. I mean, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to be online. They're like, yeah, but I'm not good before the online shit. I prefer TV. So, you know, and we're one of the more diverse audiences, I think, with different age groups. There are some shows, I don't watch many, because it caters for a lot of people, Channel 31, but there's lots of sport, news, arts, all different types of programs. And some are for older demographics. They're not going to go online all that easily. So it's an alternative media. It's diverse. It caters for everyone. So there's no reason not to support it. It's just trying to silence diversity and change and different opinions and alternative news and whatever your thing is. There's pretty much a show for everyone on Channel 31. Yep. You know? And a lot of people just find the shows just channel surfing. Every show can build up their own online profile. That's cool. But you know, if you don't know what your future's going to be at the end of the next year, where we get the extension, like I said, a lot of shows just call it quits, and you can't build up that momentum. So it's just annoying that every year, just like I said, if the spectrum's not going to be used till at the minimum 2024, how can it hurt? Just say, okay, we're extending till then.
I agree.
People.
It's sorry, have you got more you wanted to say there?
No,
like I said, you've been through most of them as well, actually. If not all of them. Have you been through all of them, or just?
I think I've been around since 2014.
Yeah, so I think you were there for the first one. So it's I don't know how to put it, because what you're saying is bang on the mark, and we wouldn't have the profile that we've got online if it wasn't for the TV used to grow us. It's not so. I love the TV stuff, but it doesn't impact us as much if it goes away, because we've had a chance to grow a profile. But for any other interest that's out there, not just us, not anyone and everyone, that if you have an idea and you can, like this, no whatever, like I've self-taught to produce a TV show. So it can be done by anyone, and if you want it, you can go and do it. And all you got to do is go through the application process of getting some TV time. They'll proof your show. They'll help you get the specs right, all that sort of stuff. They will help you through it. So if you've got an idea, you can make it actually go somewhere and get on television screens. That's important. And for any other ideas that are coming through, I feel bad for the next generation if they don't have access to the platform that we've had access to for the last 9 and a bit years. And a case in point is the AFLW Grand Final, I think, is this weekend. And the pre-show is going to be on Channel 31 because the whole, AFLW kind of show, there isn't one on mainstream TV. The official pre-game stuff is going to be on Channel 31. So this is, it's a big deal in how it helps things with diversity, sport, inclusion, all that sort of stuff. So the amount of people that we've had conversations with, you, I, anyone else, that most people find this show via channel surfing, and just I think that's how you found it one day from memory.
Yeah, that's how I found it. Well, Julia found it actually.
Yeah, okay. And Nikki found it. She's got a comment here. I'll get to that in a second. And so many people we know and so many people that have come onto the show have found it by just channel surfing late at night. And that's the best way to be able to do things. It should be there for everyone. And I would just like it to have that solidity of certainty in the future that you mentioned is so important, because it gives the networks and the shows a chance to do things and plan things and grow things. Because, if you've got a TV audience, it comes down to things like you can generate some revenue with sponsors and all sort of stuff too. It gives you security. It's not just, for the government that's about small business. They're cutting off a lot of small businesses by doing this sort of stuff. So anyway, long story short, keep the fucking stuff on the air, and just, if it's not, it never gets repurposed. All the shit they talk about doing with the spectrum, it's whatever. And at this point in time, I think it's more important than ever before to have access to things like this. So there we go. I think it's important. So please, if you're watching this, let us know. We're getting some comments coming through about people letting us know if they found us via channel surfing. So if you let us know that's cool. I'd like to get some comments going in here saying, found it via, channel surfing. So it's a long, hot topic, and there'll be more to come on it. And I know we do it all the time, but it is important because this time around it's a chance to not only have an extension for 12 months, but it's also a chance to secure community television's place in the future planning of the government. Whatever happens with the next election, because it'll be committed to, it'll be in writing, it'll hopefully be there for everyone for years to come. If we can get this one across the line, this should be the last push so that we can get community TV to be enshrined in the future of television in Australia. That would be the ultimate outcome here. So I know it's, here we go again, but this time there's a long-term goal in play. So let's get behind the fight one more time and hopefully get the right result. When it comes to the Antenna Awards thing, I think the actual nominations get announced tomorrow. So I think we'll see how that goes. I'm not holding my breath this time around. We never get nominated, so whatever. But for those that do, good luck to them all. Back to the comments quickly. When I was doing the preamble before, Rudy Prozic jumped in to say cheap trick, laugh out loud. So he's finding that funny. But he did also say at the same time that Channel 31 must stay. So there we go. Dean Whedon jumped in again before, saying, great to see you doing something on Mushroom Records for a man who meant so much to Australia and the Australian and overseas artists and bands. Without him and Molly, I don't know where Australian music would be without their support for artists and bands around the world. Rest in peace, Michael Gudinski. Very well said. I could agree with that completely. It was important to do it. We had to find the time to do it. We took a bit longer to get it right, basically, instead of just rushing one through. Nikki jumped in again. As always, Nikki loves to chat with us, and you'll see her on Tuesday night with me chatting to the organisers of Killfest. I found this channel surfing one night, and whilst I follow online other shows on Channel 31, I might not hear about it if it goes off free-to-air TV, which is true. And Sammy G-Banger, we haven't seen you for a little while. Good to see you again. She also discovered the show Channel Surfing years ago. Thank you for joining us and for jumping in with a comment. But I guess we should, as we normally do, move on and get to a review, if you're all good to go with that, unless there's anything more you really wanted to add.
No, I think we're good.
We're good? All right, cool. So first cab off the rank for tonight in terms of the reviews. Oh, hang on, before we do. Nudes jumped in because he's a great regular of ours. Hello again. Found channel surfing. Scary thing was Michael Bolton was playing at the time. Fuck. That'd be so. I think Dennis picked it as a classic clip one night.
Oh my God.
In the Still of the Night or something like that. It was one of those old school ones where it was a bit heavier. So there you go. I'm surprised you stayed with us for so long as you have after that. That was a while ago. Yeah. Thanks for sticking with us and for getting involved in these streams. He's a regular. It's great to have him. All right, but as I was saying, a review. So we're going to go to Motorjesus with Hellbreaker. It's 11 tracks for 44 minutes. The sixth studio album from the German band released April 2021 via AFM Records. 3 singles been released so far, including Dead Rising and the title track. We did review their last album, Race to Resurrection, back in 2018. So I figured we should do this one as well. Now, Dave, did you like the last album? Because I remember our review being a bit mixed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. And yeah. As I was listening to this one, I'm just like, I haven't gone back to listen to the old one again, but I'm thinking, yeah, it reminds me a lot of that. It was really high-octane rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they were German, but it actually makes sense. There's something about the voice that's got that power that you get from a lot of German power metal. But this isn't power metal. This is high-octane rock and roll. And if you enjoy heavy, fast, big rock riffs with big sounding, pounding drums, then you're going to love this. This just grabs you from the start and does not let up. They certainly know how to write energetic rock songs, and it's a hell of a lot of fun from start to finish. As I said, this band has a really powerful singer. The dude's got some fucking pipes, and the band and the singer just, they're up there. There's some really cool guitar solos throughout this, and it's not just, I found myself listening to the solo and going back to listen to the rhythm that they're playing behind it.
Yeah, that was cool.
There's some really interesting shit that's going on, and they got the solo pushed to the foreground, but there's something about the background that you're just like, holy shit, I got to listen to that again, because they got some decent rhythm playing as well. Certainly, it's music for rock and roll barbecues, drinking whiskey, watching fast racing cars, and strippers. All perfect. If that's what you like in life, you're going to like this music. Basically, hippies and vegans can fuck off. This is not for you. It's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah,
I just like, as I said, it's pretty high octane listen for most of it. There is a nice mellow acoustic bit at the end, and I thought that was a really cool way to close the album. Just kind of something to relax, something when you're like hungover and just, oh fuck, I'm gonna throw up.
But it also makes it like the repeat spin. That's a really easy sort of segue to go back to the start again. Yeah,
it really does. It bookends well. And one final thing, the artwork. It's fucking cool. Yeah. I go 8 out of 10. Drive Through Fire, Beyond the Grave, The Lawgiver, Back to the Bullet, and The Outrun.
Okay, you like Lawgiver, because I thought I was wondering where that one would go, because there's a bit of cheese in this, because it is that whole high octane. They've got a gimmick where it's about a lot of like high octane is the theme kind of thing. So anything you can think of to do with that, it's all action, it's all fast cars, all this kind of stuff. That's the general theme. So Lawgiver is about Judge Dredd. And so it might come up. Sorry?
I thought so. Judge Dredd just popped in my mind when I was listening to it. It's got that. Yeah, that was cool.
And so it's very cool, but at the same time, it's got that standard European thing you get where there's a bit of cheese in things. Not too much on this one, but that was probably the cheesiest moment on the record. So I'm not sure how that'll go overall, but it's a fun track, all the same. I had fun with the last album, so I was looking forward to this one. I remember I remember thinking when we did the last video, I was like, I thought it would go better than it did. But I knew that some of us liked it and some of us weren't as sold on it. But I thought this was actually, it kicked up a gear from the last time. I went back and listened to it again today, the last one. And this one sort of from the start goes, okay, we've got it. We found another gear to go to, and they've launched from it. Like from the start, the energy was fantastic. I think it's punchy, it's riffy, it's what you want. But the groove shifts were really nice on this. And the way they had the mid-song changes in the composition was a nice touch on that too. But also there's hooks on this. More. I think the hooks are catchier on this one than they were in the previous release, but it's not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. Like, it actually makes these songs stay with you better than you expect. You'll be singing along pretty bloody quick to these because they're really infectious. They're a lot of fun, and they just get stuck in your head, which is exactly the point. I think the vocals are a big part of that. There's a lot of melody, probably more melody than on the previous one. Nothing is overcooked or anything, but it's got some power, got some grunt in it too, but there's plenty of melody to go with it. It's got plenty of grit in this. Nothing's over polished, but it's all done very, very well. Well, shit just goes pear-shaped on my desk here. What the fuck happened there? I better move that before it gets fucking burnt. Plastic near a radiator heater is not a good idea, kids. But overall, I thought the mix was really balanced. It was a lot of fun to go through this and the way the energy was captured, the way it was presented, the balance on this was really cool because all the tones were really nice. They just had a knack for putting the vocals just out front. They put the guitar lead out front when it needed to be, and then everything else sort of went into the mix and just was really, really cool. Nothing, overpowered anything, but when the lead work came through, it was really nice and tasty, suited the songs, didn't overplay or overstay its welcome kind of thing either. It was a really solid addition to the songs. This would be a lot of fun live. There's not a lot of tricks. It's pretty no frills, but it'd be a lot of fun to see this played live. I reckon if they come here, I'm going to go because these guys seem like a hell of a fun party band. This is an album for parties. They're not one-trick ponies. There's a bit of diversity in there, but it is just, a lot of fun to go through with this one too. If you like it, fun, energetic, upbeat, good riffs, good vocals, some great hooks in there, some stuff to sing with, then you're going to be very, very happy with this one. Just a bit more than you, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Beyond the Grave, Dead Rising, and Firebreather as my standouts on this one. We got a comment from Darren Humphreys about this album too, which is cool. Lots of variety on Motorjesus. The single Heartbreaker was a touch Euro power metal. Yeah, there's a lot going on this album that is, for all we've said about it, it might come across as maybe a bit one-dimensional, but it's not. It's worth checking out because there's a lot more to it than what we've just talked about. That's the main sort of takeaway from it all as well. Unless there's anything else you wanted to add there. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, cool. Sorry, he corrected himself to Hellbreaker. Yeah, I was wondering about that. So, Hellbreaker is the single. That was cool. Like it. I think that was out of all the tracks. Did I pick that as one of the ones? No, it wasn't one. It was bookended by Battle Zone and Beyond the Grave, and I like both those tracks around it. They just sort of picked, but Hellbreaker was still a good song. But there wasn't any bad tracks on this one. The outrun at the end was a cool way to close it too. But we'll move on. So I'm going to go to one that I can almost glossed over this one, gave it, just forgotten. I knew the name Sweet Oblivion, but I've forgotten which project it was because there's so many things we listen to in a year. Okay, here we go. New comment. Mark Jorgensen, thank you for joining us. He's on FUD. Is this live? Yes, it is live. Hello. Greetings from Denmark. We'll check it out ASAP. So there you go. Yes, we are live. There you go. That should prove that one for you. So we're going to talk about Sweet Oblivion featuring Geoff Tate. Now, we did do the last album in 2019. Which is self-titled. So we're going to do this one now. This is Relentless is the new album, 10 tracks for 42 minutes. The second album from the project put together by Serafina Peregrino of Frontiers Records, released April 2021 by the same label. Produced by the guitarist in this group, Aldo Lonabile. 2 singles so far have been released in Strong Pressure and Another Change. This is another one of those projects that's been put together by this label. It features Geoff Tate on vocals. It's pretty much the centerpiece of the whole thing. And we were all pleasantly surprised by how the debut went because we all listened to Frequency Unknown. We're very underwhelmed with that. And so we'll get to this one now that we enjoyed the first one. Just before we do, though, I'm going to put a link into the comments now for Motorjesus. The Firebreather track is there. And then following that is going to be a link to the latest from Sweet Oblivion, which is Another Change, is the latest song from them to go and check out. So there's some links in the comments. Check out the last band and check out the band we're talking about now. Over to you, Dave.
I think I missed the review on the last one because I don't know anything about this project. So if I did hear the last one, I must have blanked it out of my mind. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't there because this is my first time hearing about this band. And it turns out it's the second album, so I'm going to have to go back and have a listen to the first. This got I probably would, because this got my attention right from the start. And it's just one of those ones you put on. It's got a very slow atmospheric build, and then quickly add some punches with some keys and guitar melody, and then Geoff Tate's voice comes in. I didn't know he was associated with this. So it was like, that's Geoff Tate. Instantly recognizable. It's unique, and he's still definitely got his pipes. There's a couple of times the music reminded me a little bit of Camelot. It was interesting. It still reminded me of Operation Mindcrime and Empire era Queensryche, but then there was a bit of a Camelot vibe, which was cool.
Nice.
It starts out good and continues to lift its game all the way through. The guitar tone is great. Interesting melody, killer guitar solos. It's very moody in places, and there's lots of layers in the songwriting and the production. With each listen, I got more and more out of it.
Yeah.
Like the more I listened to it, the more I was enjoying it.
The deep listen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely one you keep going back to and you get more out every time. Yeah. Geoff Tate sounds great throughout this. Can still bout out his vocals and has the right emotion at the right point. And there's a slower song called I'll Be the One. He does a great job with that. So he gets to kick things back a little bit. It's a diverse listen, but not in terms of different musical styles. It's different tempos and feel. There's kind of an overall running mood and atmosphere throughout the album, but it goes into different places within that. So, yeah, it was very interesting. There's some cool guitar solos in these songs, especially a song called Another Change. That one's just like, fuck, that was cool. The song Remember Me, there's an interesting mix on the vocals in that. The verse has kind of a call and response thing, and the response has a different vocal effect on there, and in the chorus they got them both together. It's kind of like
it's almost like a banter effect going on in the background there.
Kind of like the background thought in his mind is coming through for what his initial thoughts are. So it's a very interesting, cool idea how they managed to do that. It was just jumped out at me. I was just like, fuck, that was cool. I gave this 9 out of 10. I thought it was amazing.
Cool.
Now, once again, One Sin, Let It Be, Another Change, Remember Me, Aria, and Fly Angel Fly.
Okay, cool. You picked the one that wasn't in English. I think it's in Spanish, Aria. I think it's Spanish or Italian. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, no, it's a good song, that one. I don't mind it. I like how they've got the slower stuff more toward the end of the album. On this one, it sort of winds it down, but then you can go back to the start again. It's that whole, changing over to go back to the cycle of the listen. All in all, this is really well put together for me. It picked up with the last one left off. So if you like this one, Dave, go and check out the debut. This one had drama right from the beginning, which I thought was really cool. It's all about the vocals and the guitar. You've got the guitarist mixing this and got Geoff Tate on vocals. It's always going to be about guitar and vocal with this record, but that's not a bad thing because they're both fucking good on this. There's a bit of synth and piano underneath that too, and they flesh out the sound all nicely. And underneath that, the bass and the drums do their thing nicely. They don't get the sort of shine, but they really do anchor it out. And for all I'm talking about, nothing is buried. Everything is really present in the mix. The balance is really good. I like how it's got a really crisp and clear tone to everything, but it's still got a gnarly edge to it all. The tones on the guitar really brought the heat to this. And Geoff Tate, his vocal for a 62-year-old guy now, he did a really fucking good job. He's not quite as powerful as he once was, but he's still got his range, and he's still, got the phrasing, got the emotion, all those things are there. So if you, like when we reviewed, I think Jimmy Dennis and I reviewed Frequency Unknown, and we collectively panned it. And I thought that'd be it for Geoff Tate. And then I heard the first album from these guys going, oh, hang on, this is something else. And now this one just solidifies it. He's still got plenty to offer. Don't let anything you've heard put you off. Check out these two albums if you're a Geoff Tate fan.
I saw him live a couple of years ago with Avantasia, and he fucking smoked that. Yeah. That was really good.
I remember being surprised when he said that too, because I was concerned about his vocals with some of the releases he's done over the years. But that one was... Yeah, you said that, and I remember that. Yeah, but on these albums for this project, he's killing it. I think he's doing a great job. Composition-wise, is a bit. It's interesting. Like, there's no two songs are completely alike, but it all fits together nicely. There's some nice harmonies on this one. I liked how this thing flowed. Like it. They really knew when to put the peaks and the troughs into this record. They made it so that there was plenty of energy to go through, but they dipped at just the right times and just the right ways. The non-English track was a nice touch on this one too. All this sort of stuff was really well done. The whole thing is a professional, crisp product. You expect that when it comes to one that's being assembled by Frontiers Records. They've got a few of these projects on their roster now. But this one is probably one of the better ones. It feels one of the more organic ones to me. The guitar and the vocalist obviously work well together as a team. And so I think they've got a very good thing going here. And this is one to check out for sure. I think if you like it melodic and heavy rock to metal, because that's where this one sort of sits right in that edge between those two worlds, this is definitely for you. If you're a Queensryche fan, I got the references. Like, it did feel at times like there was a little bit of a throwback to things like Operation Mindcrime, just not in any no rip-off in any way, shape, or form, but just it reminded you of the era kind of thing. So very well done, very good record, well worth checking out. So go and do so and let us know what you think. 8.5 out of 10 from me. Anybody out there, I love the way that one sticks in your head. That hook is probably one of the ones that reminds me most of Operation Mindcrime songs off of that album. Is anybody out there? Also, Remember Me was a cool one. And then the one of the last tracks on the album, Fly Angel Fly, that was really cool. That was a good way to bring the energy up toward the end of the record too, which is very, very nicely done. Did enjoy this one a lot. And yeah, check out both albums. So Dave, you've got some work to do. Go and check out the first one. Yep. As well. And then let us know what you think of that one, because I fucking enjoyed that one too. I went back and listened to that one as well, which is why I knew that this one picked up right where it left off. And they fit, if you listen from one to the other, they actually fit really nicely together as a package. So definitely worth checking out. We have another comment. Cool. Tony Ashcroft. Another new, I don't know how much new comment. Hello. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. Geoff Tate has one of the best metal voices of all time. I waited 30 years to see him and was lucky to catch him just before lockdown last year. Blew me away. It was absolutely not perfect to Mindcrime. There you go. That's awesome. And then Darren Humphrey. is back with us. Croxton Feb 2020. There you go. That's where he caught him as well. That's where you went, wasn't it? The Croxton?
No, it was the forum.
Oh, okay, yes, that's right.
For Avantasia, yeah. That was packed. It was a Tuesday night. That was awesome.
If you've seen Geoff Tate, get in the comments and let us know where and when and how. So let's get some interaction going on. We've got some cool comments. So thank you, Tony and Darren, for sharing that with us. We are going to move on to what, in effect, is the main event for this week, which is a little bit, yeah, we'll see how we go with it. Cheap Trick, In Another World. I know there are some dead set fans of this band out there, so let's see how we go with this one. 13 tracks, 45 minutes. It's the 20th studio album from the American band, so well done on 20 albums. Released April 2021 via BMG. Produced by the band with Julian Raymond. 3 singles have so far been released, including The Summer Looks Good on You and their cover of John Lennon's Gimme Some Truth. Not Julian, it's John. The first single was released way back in 2018. The second back in 2019, and then COVID delayed things even more. And we got to give a big thank you to Marek Media for keeping up to date with this one and keeping it in our awareness so that we knew when it was actually coming in the end, because it was pushed back quite a bit. There are more comments going. We'll get to them very, very soon. Just before we do that, I am going to put the latest from Cheap Trick in the comments. So go and check this out soon to give yourself a taste of the music. Well, Dave, off you go.
Yeah. First up, I'm going to make a apology and correction. When we did the 1980 special towards the end of last year, I mentioned that I couldn't think of any Cheap Trick songs. I didn't know anybody who'd listened to this band.
And then you got your wife.
I did. I turns out I do know quite a few songs, and my wife is a big fan. So, yeah, I stand corrected. And one of their songs is used for that 70s show, so I certainly know at least one. But, yeah, I know quite a few. So as soon as I got off that taping, she listed off a whole bunch of songs and called me an idiot.
I remember the message we got that night, mate.
Yeah, directly after, like, oh, shit, it actually does turn out somebody does like this band, my wife. Yeah. Okay. Now, for this album. Holy shit, this sounds good. I didn't know. What the fuck did I?
Julie didn't correct your homework.
Yeah, no, she didn't. I didn't let her read this one. Yeah, if you didn't tell me this was Cheap Trick, I would not have picked it. It certainly sounds like a classic rock band, but there's no way sounds like a band that's been around for 50 years, and certainly not bands not written or performed by guys in their 70s.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound tired. It doesn't sound like they're going through the motions. It's fresh, inspired, youthful, and has a shitload of energy. They're obviously enjoying themselves. It's not a case of, let's make an album so we got an even 20. Yeah. It's a big sounding rock and roll record. It's not a one-trick pony. There are different tempos, different styles, different themes. There are some quite heavy riffs at times, and there's some mellow moments too, which is good.
Yep.
The songwriting is great. The lyrics can be fun at times. Other times they can be quite deep. The production sounds great. Yeah. There's a song called Final Days. It gets a bit reflective. It's probably the only time throughout the album that made me realize, hey, these guys are actually quite old, even though they don't sound it, but they're still delivering quality music. But it's one of those whole things that it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're still breathing, you have time, you have potential.
Yep.
But a lot of young bands can listen to this because this is it's inspiring. You can still deliver quality music regardless of what age you're at. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 9 out of 10.
Wow.
The Summer Looks Good on You, Final Days, Light Up the Fire, and Passing Through. I was amazed when I put it on. I was just like, holy shit, this sounds great.
Nice. So when Julia sees that review, is she going to be a lot happier with it this time around?
Yeah. I told her, you got to listen to the new album. She's like, I told you I was a fan. I told you they were good. Okay. I'll listen to you more often.
Shout out to Julie for keeping Dave in check. Here we go.
I have to consult the wife more often.
Yes, well, she's a smart one, that one. So there you go. Now, look, I haven't checked out heaps from this band. Like, you obviously know enough to know you know the stuff. You know the band, all that sort of stuff. This one, to me, has a big emphasis on hooks and groove. And you're dead right about the whole, they're getting on a bit, but more and more this year in particular, I'm convinced we have to get ageism out of the conversation when it comes to music. Just like everything else, just make it about the songs and the songs only. and these songs stack up. This is really well done. I like the way the keys were sitting just underneath the surface of it all. It was subtle but effective, really filled things up. It was a very, very smart production trick where they put them in the mix. It's got that classic layering of big instrument moments alongside big choruses. Quit Waking Me Up is a prime example of what I'm talking about in that regard. So, yeah, this has a lot going on in the production with the layering and the effects and that, but it's all very smooth. I like the use of the panning. The hard panning was really well done on this record. It was the full old school. If you had the old setup and you have your definite A and B speaker kind of thing, or left and right, you're going to really pick it up. Like the headphone listen was really intense in that regard. It was really rewarding. I loved that stuff. And things like how the acoustic guitar was just sparkled on this one. The whole detail in the production was very well done. You cannot fault the mix on this in any way, shape, or form. It sounds fucking fantastic. I think the performances are up to scratch on this more than that. I enjoyed the lead work and the vocals on this a lot. I think, again, you think about, the years they've gone through, the age, but it's like that has no bearing. These guys are still, like you said, sounding extremely youthful. Nothing's overdone. It's incredibly well put together. Fucking fantastic stuff. I like the lyrics in the stories too. There's happy and sad. It's all well captured. The emotive way it is conveyed in the performance as well. It was good track diversity too. Like the way they played it out, the way they ordered it and stuff. You go on a real journey with this record as well. Like you said, they're not a band that's, doing it to round out an even 20th album, but they're doing what they want to do now at the same time. So they don't have to please anyone. They're not trying to grow their audience at this point in time. They've got a strong fan base and well done to them for that. They've deserved it. But this is an album that's purely for them. They're playing songs they want to play now. And that's perfect. I've got no problem with that at all. I think that's a great thing. I think the one thing that I sort of struggle with a bit is that the first half of the album didn't grab me as much as the second half of the album did. The back end of this where it got more interesting to me. And I think that like the element, there's a reprise on this one too, which you don't get a lot of that there was a reprise on this, which was cool, which I think was to do with the Summer Looks Good on You song, maybe. I forget what it is now. Hang on, I'll tell you. Another World, so it's reprised as another, but I forget the hooker type. But there's a crossover, so you get a reprise, which is really nice. And also, I think the cover was really well done. So the John Lennon cover was a good little addition to this. It's very polished, very well done, very professional record. I'm not sure it's worth a 3-year wait. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is very well done. If you like the band, check it out. Even if you're not a huge fan of the band, it's one that's safe. This is a record you can put on for anyone. Anyone can listen to this one and enjoy it. This is safe for you and I as, rockers and metalheads, and this is safe for my dad who's a church minister as well. Like either way, this is safe for everyone. But at the same time, it's going to make you happy whoever you are. So if you're a metalhead or if you're a classic person, then you're going to find something in this to be happy with. Absolutely, for sure. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Won't be a top 10 album, but it's going to be one that will stay with me for a while. I picked Light at the Fire, Here's Looking at You, and Boys and Girls and Rock and Roll, which is a very cool track there too. So there's a lot there to check out too. There's more than that. The Here's Looking at You is another good one in there too. So there's a lot of cool songs on this one. We got some more comments on that one too, which is cool. So give me a moment to go back. Tony Ashcroft, going back to the Geoff Tate stuff we were talking about before. He said the added bonus was you got to see Espionage for the first time too. They were awesome for a young band out of Melbourne. Yes, they are. And go and check out, if you haven't already, check out the album, Tony. Digital Dystopia. That's a fucking ball terror. We love that one. And it's hard not to be biased here because Dennis is one of us, but at the same time, fuck. It's a good album. It's hard to deny. So there you go. Check out that if you haven't already. And Nudes has gone Cheap Trick. Awesome live. Tom Peterson, master and creator of the 12-string bass. Yes, very good point there. Tony jumped in again and said, saw the festival hall in late 80s, early 90s. Very solid. I'm glad you're enjoying tonight's show, obviously. So, yes, very cool. Thanks for the feedback there. And Darren jumped in again saying he just underwent open heart surgery and is still scheduled to be in Australia in May. Wow. That's some fucking work ethic. Jesus Christ. There you go. He's hoping that comes off, although I'm not sure about international tours in Australia at the moment. I really don't hold a lot of hope for that until next year, but we will see what happens. And Tony jumped in. Thanks, been a fan for years. Check it out. Cool. Awesome. Wonderful to have you here. Now, yeah, that's the reviews done. So now we get to the fun part of all this sort of stuff. Then we start to wrap things up and do the usual shit that we go through. So this is the point where I say to anyone, if you've got anything you want to say, now's the time to do it, because we're going to start to wrap this up. And then once we go, it's sort of the moment is lost. So if you got comments, get in there now. While I do the whole spiel of things like, so check us out. Our details are in the description of this, whether you're watching or listening to it later on Spotify. If you're tuning in, not live with us now, hopefully you've enjoyed the show as well. Thank you for tuning in whenever you do get the chance to do so. And like I said, follow, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff that everyone gets you to do. We're no different. We're going to tell you to do the same thing. Check out our Patreon page. Any help you can give us by that platform is greatly appreciated. And a big thank you, as always, to our fantastic sponsors, Squidding, Scrimping, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, like ours, are in the description there. So find them, follow the links. You know what to do. Give them a follow as well. What else have we got here? Our next stream, in theory, I don't know what we're doing yet, but in theory, it's locked in. The one that's locked in next is Tuesday, which is an interview with the creators of Killfest, which will be very cool. It's some familiar faces in that one for a lot of people out there. And we've got some other stuff coming out too. We're filming our Michael Gudinski special on Sunday. That's going to make the routine go a bit out of whack. We're trying to settle on Thursdays and Sundays and Tuesdays as being our live streams, but we've got to sort of jiggle things around a little bit at the moment. And while I'm thinking of this sort of stuff, this is all random. In this description of the episode that you're watching or listening to now, you'll find links to the music of the bands and also to the press statement from Channel 31 earlier that we talked about tonight as well. I think that's all the official shit out of the way. Check us out on TV. Yes, Nudes Adelaide Mob is on tonight, Channel 44. Yes, I was just about to get to that. So tonight, Channel 44, 10:30 p.m. Australian Central Time. We are on, I forget what clips are on. I'll do a post shortly on that. I think I've got to work out what's on there now because it's all fucking weeks behind and stuff. So, yes, we're on 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights on Channel 44 in Adelaide and 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne and Geelong. I think they have streams. If not, we have streams every week. We're on 3 times a week and we have TV stuff. So we're everywhere. Just follow us and you'll keep up to date, relatively speaking, with whatever the fuck we're doing, because some days we get confused as well. But, you know, it is what it is. But I think that's it. All right, let's do it. Let's go to the fun part. Time to get something off, Dave. Go to the bin. What have you got?
Yeah, we kind of touched on it tonight and in previous weeks, but older rockers put out excellent music, and people just kind of overlooking it because of the age of the band or the age of the musician. But I know it's not everyone, but there's a little bit of an attitude saying, oh, they're past their time, they've got to step aside, give room for the young ones. And it's not just musicians, it's actors, writers, wrestlers. But, you know, if you can still do what you love doing and you can release quality stuff, then go for it. And if you're just going to ignore it because the band's been around for years, then that's your loss. But if that's your attitude, in the bin.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, that's a good way to put it. I think, the entire ageism thing, get out of the way. I think if they're holding others down, which in music is harder to do, like in wrestling, I get the argument for holding people down. But in music, that's kind of impossible because the audience will do what the audience does. You can't decide that. So, yeah, don't shit on people for doing stuff, because we're all going to get to that age, hopefully, at some point, and we're still all going to want to have the entitled or the ability to do what we want to do and love what we do. So I'd like to be able to do this when I'm 70 years old. Jody might disagree with me, but I would like to be able to do it. So, and if people tell me to get off because I'm too old, I'm going to get very angry at that. So I don't want to do that. So don't do it to others. My bin is really, really simple. For those that watched the Lord stream we did with Andy Dowling on Tuesday night, you would have seen that we had a whole lot of technical issues with the Australian internet. So that fucking thing in the bin. How we didn't get the NBN right is fucking beyond me. I'm over it. And it's not just me. I know, Nikki, if you're still watching, you've had issues with the internet of late as well. We've all had it. It's not that fucking hard. Just give us some good internet. We all need it, especially after COVID. Just fucking fix that damn thing. Like, it's bizarre. Every time we go to do these things, I have to connect to my mobile phone to make it work properly, even though there's a router just on the other side of the wall. It's just nuts. So it's like, it's crazy. It's the only way to get a reliable connection is to connect my phone. So there you go. Fuck me. So we got Telstra NBN and I'm on Vodafone as mobile, and that's more reliable to me. Work that one out. That's saying something right there. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add or say or whatever while we got there?
I think I'm done for tonight.
We're done for tonight. we'll do it all again on Sunday, you and I, but that will not be streamed. That'll be recorded for later on. So there's 12 albums to get through in that. We're not going to do 12 album long streams. We'll try and keep these streams to 45 to an hour as we try to wrap these things up in. But yeah, thank you, Dave, for jumping in. This was a bit of a cram session this week, so I do really appreciate you jumping in for this one. And to all of you out there that have tuned in, left your comments, whether it's live with us now or later on, thank you so much as well for jumping in, having some fun with us. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. As always, your feedback is welcome. And Nudes, while I've got your attention, I did get your message about the band too. So we will check out that album. I'll fill you in on that later on, Dave. We will check it out. It is something there to check out. But yes, we'll get to that in due course. But for now, we'll see you all again very soon. Until then, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
As always,
drink up.
Rock on. Now we do the whole routine. We go one by one. We say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
So goodbye, Twitter.
Catch you later.
And then we hit the YouTube tab and we say goodbye to you.